All right, welcome back to this video. In this video, we're going to be looking at the SayTime plugin. The biggest issue most people have with this plugin is setting it up and getting it to work. And we're going to look at the reason why it may or may not be working for you. There are a lot of things that change from version 2006 to 2037 and prior to that. All right, so to get this thing going, you first of all need to download the audio files for SayTime. And you see, I have this folder called SayTime. And inside of that folder are all of the files, the audio files. You can download this from radiodj.ro from the downloads page. Inside of it, we'll have all of the files needed to do the SayTime. They are in here a specific way as far as how they're named. And if you want to make your own, you actually can make your own. You just have to name them the same way they are named here and make sure you're saying similar or something similar as to what each one of these files are saying. So when you download that and you unzip it, you're either going to have a folder that says SayTime or a folder that says plugin underscore SayTime. And this is where the problem comes in. As the versions go on, the name of this folder has to be changed. But to get this to work, as you can see, I'm inside of the default folder and I'm using version 2006. I'm inside the default folder of the Radio DJ installation. Okay. So if I open up Radio DJ right now, now I have this SayTime button on here, but it's not working. Really shouldn't even be there. So let me take it off. I think it's stuck because of what we did. And when I go to plugins, you won't see the SayTime plugin over here. You're not going to see it. It's one of those plugins you have to add to Radio DJ. All right. So as we see, it's not a part of the ecosystem of Radio DJ. So we need to add it. So I'm going to exit out of Radio DJ. We're going to go to the disabled plugins folder, which is inside of the root directory of Radio DJ, the installation. In there's a listing of all the plugins you can try out if you want to. Today we're looking at the SayTime plugin. So I'm going to that folder, and as you can see, there are only two files in here, a README file and a DLL, SayTime DLL. So we're going to copy that. I'm going to right click, copy that, back it out once, back it out twice. Then I'm going to go to the plugins folder. I'm just going to paste that in there somewhere. Okay. Paste that DLL in there. So there's the DLL. The audio files we downloaded from their website. And it may, when you unzip it, it may make a folder called SayTime or plugins underscore SayTime. But that folder has to be inside of the plugins folder. Okay. So once we do that, go back, then we can start Radio DJ to see if this is going to work. All right, you're not going to see anything when it starts up. So you got to do a couple of things. The first thing I want to do is I want the SayTime button down here so I can trigger it anytime I want to. So I'm going to click on the options wrench. I'm going to go to options and I'm going to go down to the other settings tab. And on the right hand side, I'm going to scroll till I see SayTime right there. And I'm going to move it over to the left side and close. And you'll see that the SayTime button is now at the bottom where the bottom buttons are on Radio DJ. In plugins, if I go to plugins, I should see the SayTime setting in here. Okay. If I double click on that or click on settings, the only option you have is the level. And I think 10, well, it can go higher than 10, I guess. It says here 10 is the maximum number. So If you go higher than 10, I guess, I don't know. It either stop at 10 or distort. So we're going to set it at 10 and hit OK. So now that we have set it up to where I have access to it in RadioDJ, if I hit the SayTime button, I should be able to hear it. But if you don't hear it, then what you need to do, you do not have to close out of RadioDJ. Go back to the installation folder and go into plugins. And you see here, the SayTime folder in here with the audio files is labeled SayTime. In earlier versions, the name of the folder, SayTime, was fine. But in version 2006 and I think above, we have to rename this folder. So we're going to rename it plugin underscore SayTime and hit enter. Now, when I go back to RadioDJ and hit the SayTime button, I hope you can be able to hear this.
It's 6:19.
See, now it plays. Okay.
It's 6:19.
Okay. Let me, now let's look at how to make these things work using the events, because that's very important. Let's get rid of these other events that are in here. All right. So now that we got it working, we set our volume. We got the button down here so we can test it as well as use it live on the air.
It's 6:19.
How do you program it to run? So let's go to events. There's two ways you can get to events. You can click on the bar down here, or you can go to the options wrench and go to events. You get the same results, just less windows in some cases. So when I get over here to the events, I'm going to click on the plus sign. I'm just going to call it SayTime or Say the Time. All right. And to test this, we're going to do date and hour. Okay. Now we're going to click on the plus green sign. And to do the SayTime, you want to scroll all the way down to the plugin actions. Okay. And we're going to select plugin actions. When you do that, it's going to give you access to the available plugins and their actions. So when I do the drop down list, let me pull this up a little bit. You scroll down and you look for SayTime. This is in alphabetical order, by the way. And you see that you have 2 options. Okay. So let's try the first option. The first option is Say the Time, Schedule Hour Announcement. Let's see what that does. So we're going to select that and add the action. And we're just going to make it do it. So let's go to 22. No, let's go to 21:50. Did I do it right? Nope. 50. Hit add event. All right, so in 23 seconds, we're getting ready to see what this is going to do. And I'm going to get some music going here, if I can. Drag it. Let's play some music.
It's 6:21.
Okay. So that one dropped the music a little bit and said it was 6:21. Now let's see our settings for how far the music gonna drop down when it does. Now we know the plugin is set at volume 10, but if the music didn't drop enough, let's go to options wrench. Let's go to options, and we're gonna go to sound card settings and scroll all the way down to the bottom. And you're going to see right here where it says mixing settings. We're going to drop those down to 1. Don't get too many options on this. 1 is about the best one. Basically, these are settings for how far to drop the music when you do sweepers and voiceovers and things of that nature. One seems to be the best setting. So I'm going to close that. And by the way, we're running version 2006. And let's try this again. Throw some more bro defats in here. Okay. Let's get the next time. We're going to do 2350. And what we want to do, we want to see what the music does when this runs, this SayTime, this first option.
It's 6:23.
All right. Actually, this first option, I didn't notice a change in the volume. Okay. All right. So it played it, but I did not notice a change in the volume. Let me put this up as the first option. Okay. So in the first option, it didn't really drop the music. So let's make a new event. We're going to call this Say the Time second option. All right. This time we're going to choose that second option that was available. So we click on the plus green sign, go down to select plugin action. And the action we're going to choose is the second option, which is, it says SayTime voiceover, schedule our announcement and lower the music. Ah, okay. So it does tell you to lower the music. All right. So we're going to choose that one. And it is 26 or 24. We're going to say 25, 30. All right. So this is the one that actually lowers the music. I'm sorry, I had it wrong.
It's 6:25.
All right. So you heard that one drop the music. And it's going to drop the music based on the levels we set. And as I said before, one seems to be the best one for me on my station. Because you don't always record your voice drops and your sweepers. If you're not recording them at a high level, the music will drown them out. So we saw two ways to say the time. There is a third way, which I like, that is not talked about much, but it's a little hidden gem. And I'm going to see if I can remember this. All right. Okay, so this way of doing it is sophisticated, but it is by far, to me, the best way to do it. All right. That is, we're going to create an event. Okay. And we're going to call it Say the Time. All right. But we're going to make it a manual event, meaning you can't schedule it, but we're going to do something totally different with it. So the timing down here doesn't matter. Okay. I'm just going to put on here manual. Okay. Then we're going to select either one of those plugin actions. Now, because of the way this works, well, I'm just going to choose the first option because in this one, it doesn't matter. Because what this does is it plays the time in between the music. And it plays it whenever this runs. It's crazy how this works. All right, let's go. We're going to add that action. So our action is basically, we're going to say the time. It's a manual event. So because we selected that as our event type, a manual event. And we chose the first option. It doesn't matter which one, because this one is not going to lower the music because it's going to play in between the music. All right. So we're going to add that event. Now, the next step in this process is building. You got to create a playlist. All right. So we're going to go to our playlist builder, and you're going to notice this is version 2006. At the top, you got something called events. You got file, edit, import, and events. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say new playlist to make sure we're on a new one. And then I'm going to go up here and say event, add event. In the playlist builder, you can only add manual events. This extends the power of RadioDJ because you can create manual events to do something within your playlist. That's very powerful. And maybe I'll do some sophisticated ways of using that later. But in this instance, we're making a playlist called SayTime. We made a manual event called SayTime. Now we're going to make a playlist as a part of this whole process. Okay. So I went to events. First of all, I went to make a new playlist to make sure I'm not overwriting anything. And then I went to events. I said, add events. The only events that will show up are manual events. And so I'm going to add that. And there it is. That's my event. Now I'm going to save this playlist because I'm done. I'm going to save this playlist as a new playlist, and I'm going to call it SayTime Playlist. You can call it what you want. I'm going to call it that so I know what it is, okay? And I'm going to hit save. All right, so now that we have created this playlist, now we can do something totally different with the SayTime. And that is we can create an event. Okay. Now we I know this is gonna sound crazy. We made an event called SayTime Manual, right? We're gonna make another event. So this takes two events. And we're gonna call this one SayTime Manual Trigger. Actually, nope. We're going to call it load. Load SayTime playlist. Because I forgot that's what we're going to be doing. This one you can put on a schedule. So I'm going to put on SayTime hour, day and hour. Okay. So we're in this event, we're loading that playlist that we just created for SayTime. All right. And so that means our event action is a little bit different. It is going to be load a playlist. That's what our action is going to be. Where's my playlist at? I passed it. It was up at the top. I'm sorry. So we're going to load a playlist, and the name of that playlist, we can put it at the top. The name of that playlist is going to be SayTime Playlist. This is the reason why I name my playlist at the end. I put the word playlist. It just helps me mentally know what's going on. So we're going to make an event that says load playlist, and the playlist we're loading is the SayTime playlist. And we're going to add that action. Now we can set the times and stuff. Now watch what this does. So we're going to set this at 34:30, 1 minute from now. And you're going to see the difference it is, okay? All right, so let's get this going. I like doing it this way better, by the way, and you're going to see why. All right, 10 seconds, and you're going to see what this does. It's a little bit different, so here we go. Wow, watch that. See what happened? It didn't play anything, but it loaded it to the top of the queue. So watch what happens when the song changes.
It's 6:34.
Saw that? It did the time between the song. In other words, it didn't interrupt the song. It didn't lower the volume of the song. It didn't play over the top of the song, even though there's a little crossfading going on when the second one came in, the second song came in. But it actually loads the playlist, or it loads the SayTime command as a playlist, and it sits in the queue until it's time to play. Now, why would you do that? I do that because it doesn't matter what time that gets played, it will play the current time that it plays. Both of them do the same thing, but the other ones, when the ones that you schedule to run, just run the SayTime, they're going to say the time at the time they run. This one can sit in the queue for 15, 20 minutes, an hour, whatever, and it's going to say the time at the time that it actually loads in. So I like this one better because I may load it to the top of the queue, but I may not want it to say nothing right now. You understand what I'm saying? There may be a pre-recorded show or live show going on, and I want to say the time, but maybe I don't want to interrupt that show. And so I would use this method. When that show goes off, if anything else loads in front of the SayTime, then the time will say and the rest of the programming will continue. So I tend to like it better. So just remember, the main thing is this folder may have the wrong name. It will not work if the folder just says SayTime. In the later versions, it has to say plugin _ SayTime for it to work. And I think that's the main problem that a lot of people are having with the SayTime plugin. So I think that's all I can think about concerning this. Watch this video again, especially for the third way to use it. It is kind of complicated, but once you get it set up, it becomes very easy. So basically, and by the way, if you have tons of event, whenever you uncheck this little area right here becomes a search bar. You can put in keywords and it'll filter all of your events down to what the keyword you type. All right, so we did the first option is it's going to play the time over whatever's playing, but it's not going to lower the music. Many of us don't like that, but that's what that does. The second option will play the time at the time this event runs, but it'll drop the music to do so. Then there's the third way. The third way is the manual way, where you have to, first of all, make the SayTime a manual event. And then to load that manual event, we created a playlist for it. We loaded it into a playlist. And then we can run, or load, I should say, the playlist. So it becomes like a playlist. You're loading a playlist. And that playlist, we loading it to the top of the queue. So when it plays, it runs the whole process. Very powerful, by the way. Very powerful. So I hope this has helped, guys. Leave a comment below. I'm at about 800 subscribers. I'm trying to get to 1,000. See how things change. There are other features that open up once I hit 1,000 subscribers. So make sure you share, like, and subscribe. I appreciate every one of you guys. And if you haven't done so, go on over to howtoUseRadioDJ.com and sign up as a member over there as well. All right, guys. Until next time. Peace.